And hi, folks. Welcome again to Shell Busey's House Smart Home Services Coffee Break. Well, today have we got a number for you. Well, the number is men's sheds. Now, you might wonder why the emphasis on men's. Well, for no other reason other than we have a opportunity for gentlemen, men of the industry, men of the working, the blue collar, men of the industry, factory workers, you name it, retirees. I could go on and on. Like, I'm retired. Well, supposed to be retired. And the gentleman beside me is supposed to be retired. But his name is Reg Sutton. How you doing, Reg?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Shell.
It's so nice to have you come out, not only today, but when you come out originally. And it's something that really brings to mind that, what do people do after retirement? We've got a group of people that meet, for example, here at our office that have been, many, many different careers and whatever. But what do they do after they retire?
Most of them, once they've got over the idea that they are retired and don't have to go to work anymore, they tend to sit around or just wander around the mall or look for something local to do. But there's nothing out there really for them because they're not really meeting with other guys. They've lost that work connection. They've lost the friends they had on the way to work. And all of a sudden, that chore of going to work, they miss that too.
And they may have lost possibly their spouse.
They might be, and they suddenly find they can't cook for themselves properly, and they start to get a little depressed. They start watching too much TV, drinking a little too much, smoking too much, and their health is on a downward slide.
Well, that's where the men's shed comes in. Now, I know the ladies, for example, they got the red hats, red hat ladies. My wife was a red hat lady, and this has no purpose in shunning on any of the opposite sex. This is for men that kind of feel maybe a little lonely. They are not used to going out and having the opportunity to have a camaraderie party, or coming to, like today, we have 4 of us out here, and my goodness, we've been talking everything from health to exercise to industry of houses and manufactured housing. But there is really something that I have to credit you for 110%, and that is you came to me one day and said, Shell, have you ever heard of men's sheds?
Well, I looked into men's sheds quite by accident. It was started about 2013. I found it on the internet. I was actually looking for a design for a garden shed and came across this organization.
Is that right? I didn't hear that story.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. I was looking for a unique garden shed design. That took me into men's sheds in Australia, New Zealand, England, Ireland, and finally I checked Canada, and I found one in Winnipeg, operated by a man named Doug Mackey. He was actually the founder. So I thought, okay, I looked up his entries on the web, and I emailed him immediately. That was on a Sunday afternoon. Within half an hour, he phoned me, direct from Winnipeg.
Sitting on top of his computer.
Yeah, and we were talking for 2 hours as if I'd known him for years.
But you can do that.
I can do that.
You can do that. You're a great guy, and I love you for it because you are a gentleman that can talk about pretty well anything when it comes to your history, your experiences, your career. Like we have John and Murray out in the meeting area right now. We're going to have them come in and introduce themselves as well during this seminar that we're going to be here on the, we like to call it the coffee break. Well, grab a coffee and take a visual view of what's going on in the men's sheds. And just, can you give a Reader's Digest thumbnail sketch of what takes place as a general rule of thumb in the men's sheds?
Well, when a men's shed gets started, and every single men's shed is different. There is no standard men's shed. It's all based on the interests of the men who are coming in. Now, the first thing when a man walks in, he might be invited to sit down, have a coffee, read the paper if he's got nothing else he wants to do at that moment. After a while, he'll look around and he might see tools being used, like lathes, saws. Somebody might be working on a bicycle. Somebody might be tuning up a musical instrument. Finally, someone might say, "Hey, you're new here. Why don't you come over and hold this board for me? I'm trying to put this chair together for this play school." The other thing that men sheds, they tend to get involved in community affairs like helping out at different organizations that need volunteers.
Now, one thing I want to clarify here. This, folks, is not a man's cave. It's not a man cave. It's not a boy cave. This is men's sheds. So it's a different whole concept of getting people together, in most cases, seniors.
In that case, yes, seniors mostly, although it can include younger people. Perhaps a man's out of work and he needs somewhere to go while he's thinking about it. He might even learn a new skill by going there, and that might provide employment. But on the whole, it's about men doing what men do best, together, having fun together, enjoying their time together, and talking about things which they might not talk in mixed company. Things like health. Men tend to be very reticent about coming forward with their health issues, but two of them working at a bench, one might say, "I've had a pain in my side for a long time." The man next to him says, "Hey, I had one of those. I had to see the doctor and he gave me some pills." That's the sort of thing that they open up on. Normally they might go for years. They just don't really look after themselves when they're retired.
They need that influence from other resource, being other men, to talk to. And that's what I found having our gathering here. I mean, I've met thousands of people doing shows all across Western Canada, but not like I'm talking here at the seating area and talking about anything. It's not just home improvement with me. It's not just repairs or whatever when it comes to something broken. But I just like to talk about involved interests of other people. And like, you're a very interesting person and full of information of men's sheds from around the, you might say, the world, and now creating one right here, folks, in White Rock, South Surrey area. And in fact, it's called White Rock, South Surrey Men's Sheds. And we want you to be part of it. We would like to invite you. And we're going to give you the opportunity of getting to us so we can communicate through Reg's home and to get you invited to the next meeting or whenever you can get out. It's not something that you got to pay to come. You come and enjoy your friends. Yeah, well, you become friends.
Generally, there's no actual fee to attend at this point. At some point in time, funds will be needed to help move it along.
We'll create something to make those funds.
There's all kinds of methods of achieving that in time. The first thing is to become or join in a smaller group, get to know each other, and you'd be amazing how the conversation, where it goes. It's a case of
play a game, play a game of cards, or
go for
play
a walk.
crib, or go for a walk, or
there's
carve.
Exactly. In the one in Winnipeg, they do wood burning. They do all sorts of other things to do with handicrafts. They're not major woodworking operations, and some people might not even want to use tools. They might want to sit quietly and read a book.
Exactly.
They might want to just chat with someone that they haven't seen for a long time.
But there's no restrictions. You can be doctors, lawyers, electricians, plumbers. You can be possibly a sports related career that the person has had. You can be possibly, in fact, we have a minister of a church and people that are, tool and die people. All these people, folks, are available to come out and enjoy, become part of that male audience. And as I was indicating, we even were out, I was out taking pictures in a mall the other day, and just because we're putting an exhibit in a mall, but I took pictures, 4 pictures, one ahead of me, one behind me, and one to the left and right of me. And you know what? There wasn't a picture that didn't have all men in it.
Right. Well, generally speaking, every single men's shed has shown improvements in health of the members. people who arrive there downcast and wondering what to do with their lives suddenly start to perk up. There's something going on all the time. They might be learning how to cook, for instance, if they haven't got much skill in that area.
Mhm.
They eat better. They suddenly go out for visits. In other places where there's more men's sheds, they go and visit another men's shed.
Mm-hmm.
That's another interesting.
Because that's one thing that
Yeah.
you want to do. Your mandate is to get more men's sheds going throughout Greater Vancouver, for an example.
Well, I see a men's shed in every community in Canada, and at least Vancouver could have half a dozen or more. There are already similar organizations, but they generally cost quite a lot. What we really need is some really willing people to get together and learn about this as they go.
And one another.
One another.
It's
yeah.
not something that we're asking for volunteers to come out. We're going to go and build this or build that or create this or create that. This is about you folks. This is about you, sir. This is about what you did. Now you're retired, and possibly, unfortunately, you've lost your spouse. And where do I go from here now?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to do? What can I do with my life? Well, this is what it's all about. And I would like you, Reg, to simply say, we would like you to come on out.
Definitely. I speak to lots of men individually, but collectively it's hard to bring them out. They tend to be, shall we say, I'll think about it, or I'm too busy. Most men are not too busy. It's just, in my mind, maybe a little bit nervous about changing their way of doing things. Maybe they are, I don't know what it is. It's just...
Look at the first meeting example.
Yeah.
Ian, what a wonderful guy. The whole entire hour, and only hour. I mean, this is not long meetings that go on.
No.
And I said to Ian, gosh, you didn't have too much to say. He said, I was just listening.
Yes.
And the second meeting, he was talking.
Yes.
And he said, I really enjoy this because now I know what it's all about. I can talk about anything and everything. I can talk about what I did yesterday or today or on the weekend with the grandkids. And it's really, really an opportunity that I'm willing to work with you, and let's get this going because I got a lot to hand over. My career has been interesting. Yours has been interesting. Let's do it.
Yeah, one of the main things about men's sheds is people tell us stories about their lives, their background, all sorts of interesting places they've been to, places you and I have never had a chance to visit, and it's lovely to hear these stories coming out.
I'm going to have each one of the gentlemen that's here today, John and Murray, come in and say a couple of words when we're finished here, but let's end it at this particular point and say, folks, we want you to become part of the White Rock, South Surrey Men's Shed. We're going to create more men's sheds, and we would like you to be that creator if you're coming in from elsewhere, because this is going out to my membership here in Greater Vancouver, and but there's many other provinces and many other men that would like to come out. And you know what my wife said to me when I talked to her about this and she read all the information? She said, oh wow, that'll keep you out from underneath my feet.
That's exactly the thing. The wives are the best persuaders of men to join men's sheds.
It's just that easy, folks. So let's bring in the John and Murray and have them say a few words as well. And welcome back, folks. Yes, I have. I've got Murray here right now. And Murray is, out for the first visitation here at the Men's Shed. And what do you think so far, Murray?
Oh, I love it. Talk.
Well, you know, you can do a lot of talking, but you can do a lot of good. And when it comes to doing a lot of good, getting men together is something really that many clubs and associations have done, but not like the Men's Shed. The Men's Sheds are a senior group of men, and not necessarily all senior, but areas where you can go and you can talk. As I was saying to Reg, maybe somebody's lost their spouse and now kind of feeling lost, but let's talk to you, Murray, about what did you do and what do you do now?
Well, I started my career as a transit operator, which is a bus driver too.
Right.
But I learned how to deal with people
Right.
And number one, just what kind of people are out there, and from the very young to the very old.
And I want to hear all that.
Really?
Yes, I do. I want to hear about that and the experiences that we're going to have in the men's sheds.
Hey, the whole object of what I saw from downtown Vancouver East Side to Richmond, Steveston area was people that needed an area to go that they could talk. Right. And talk about things that were bothering them, talk about their life, and just be able to be with somebody that they could talk to. And that's what I, as a transit operator, offered those people. So, I mean, it was wonderful to see senior gentlemen get on from the Lions Manor out there in Steveston, down to the gentleman that, I remember one fellow that had a stroke, and it's kind of an emotional thing for me, but again, opening up the doors to the bus and him getting on and me saying hello and him giving me a smile, even if it was, because he knew me.
Exactly.
And that's what it was all about. Now, pertaining to what I'm doing now, I live in a manufactured home park, 345 units, where a lot of the people that live there, well, there are some that are... I don't even know what to say. Deceased,
not able to do much of it.
Well, and they're living on their own because their spouses have left, and
we're going to get them out. You're going to get them out. We're going to get them out.
We're going to try.
Yeah, you bet. Well, all we can do is try.
That's it. So the idea was where I'd lived before was a cooperative housing place, and I volunteered my services there. Even though I didn't know anything, I certainly learned over the 19 years that we lived there. How to do stuff, and I wanted to get into that at this manufactured home park, but unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. So when Reg brought up about the men's shed, I thought to myself at the time that it seemed like a really good idea to get a bunch of fellows together and to volunteer our services, and if not having anything to do voluntarily, just to sit down and talk about our lives. So
now, what do you do now? Do you keep yourself busy, still doing something part-time? A lot of fellows have turned to going and working in the industry. Some have even went to work in large building supply stores. And now yourself, what do you do?
Well, I drive a school bus.
Oh, now that is, I think, great, because you're dealing with kids now.
Yes.
So it's kids every day relying on you to get them from A to B and back again safely. And what an opportunity!
Really a compliment to me to have that opportunity to do that for them.
Oh, absolutely.
And their parents, of course. Again, you see certain things. I don't know. I'm just the kind of guy that likes to get involved, and I haven't had any bad reactions to anything at the time. I mean, I'm there to do the job, and that's like transit. That was my job.
Right on.
So promotion is part of it all, and whatever I can do to promote the camaraderie of a men's shed. That would be the best.
You're going to be the one of those seeds that's planted, and watch it grow. And I really thank you for taking this opportunity, because I did not say anything by email or otherwise that this was going to take place at today's meeting, because if I did, there might be a few that wouldn't show up. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to show you how easy it is to let fellow man know. And we've already talked about the ladies. They have the Red Hats ladies, and my wife belongs to that. And it's great. They go out and talk about lady things, and we go out and talk about men things. So I want to say, hey, thank you. Looking forward to spending a lot of time with you.
Sean.
And it's one of those things that, hey, it is just that easy.
Yes, sir.
You betcha. Folks, hang on. Don't go away. I've got one more I want you to meet, and that's John. And hey, wait until you see his mustache. It's something else. And hi again, folks. As promised, I have the other gentleman that came out to the men's shed today, and his name is John, and got a great handlebar mustache.
Yeah, I work on it.
I thought that came from Movember, but it wasn't. That's something that's you.
That's me.
That's you.
That's right.
Now, when it comes to men's sheds, when you heard about the men's sheds for the first time, what did you think?
Well, it was an idea. I was just coming up to retirement, actually, and one of the members of Ian, who's not here today, told me about it, and I thought, well, keep in touch. I'm busy right now.
Yeah.
But
What you used to do?
I was a minister with the United Church of Canada.
Great. And,
Yeah.
and I knew that. I didn't have to ask
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I wanted to hear it from you.
Yeah,
Because I think that's wonderful that when we can bring in that aspect of the careers of people in the ministry, but you do a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, I'm involved with a community choir. I play bagpipes with a RCMP. Just letting you know that. So it's a good group. I involved with a motorcycle group. I'm now official patch member. I got my patch on Tuesday night, and
A patch member of?
the Coastal Riders.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of retired guys in there, and women, yeah, and people who aren't retired. So that's a mixed group.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my hobbies. I play guitar and doing some music. I just found out one earlier on that Murray plays guitar.
There you go. You see,
Yeah, see?
that's what you find out.
Yeah, I didn't know that, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince him to dust it off. And
I
maybe-
tried playing a saw one time with a
Yeah.
bow from a
Oh, yeah.
violin and doing the.
Oh,
you know, that
I've
sort
seen,
of-
I've seen that. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what did you think of your first meeting?
Well, the first meeting was kind of an organizational thing. It was, three or four of us were gathered, and the purpose of it was just to get organized and meet people. I knew Ian, of course, because he was a member of my church
Yeah, yeah.
before I retired, and so we're good friends. And Reg and I have connected over email. That was actually the first time that I really got to know Reg.
And that was the meeting that I was asked
That's
to
right.
come out to.
Yeah,
And we met at that meeting. In fact, it was down at the Ricky's Restaurant.
that's right.
So, and we use our office because we have an area now that we can
Yeah,
meet.
yeah.
But it's really nice to get together and talk about
Yeah.
just whatever it happens to be. Like,
Right.
I'd love to know where you came from and why you went into the
Yeah.
ministry, for an example, and what you do now. And
Yeah, the thing about Men's that really attracted me was the idea that being in ministry, I realized I did a lot of pastoral work, a lot of seniors, working with seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Although this is not a seniors organization, it just happens to be that seniors have the time, and around men is the hardest group
yeah,
to work with because
and you'd certainly know that.
yeah, they're isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're married, they're isolated.
Yes,
It's very dependent on the wives
yes.
to organize the
And if
social
they've
calendar.
lost their wife, it
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
where do I go? What do I do now?
That's right. And try. One of the things that I always tried to happen in the church life was get a men's group going.
Right.
The women they're better at being their friends. They go out for coffee, lunch, whatever. And I find I walk around our area, and there's a lot of men who seem just to be wandering.
Well, the picture I was showing you this morning that
Yeah.
I took at the local mall, and 4 pictures, and every one of them had just men in it.
Just men that.
And walking around the mall, looking a little forlorn, a little bit lost, having
Yeah.
coffee, and by themselves. And this is going to give that opportunity for
Yeah.
them. Come out and talk with whatever that career
Yeah.
happened to be with
Yeah.
the person. And there's no reason to be back. And I mentioned the story about Ian, the first meeting I met him, he didn't really say anything. I said, "Boy, you're a quiet fella." And
Yeah.
he says, "Yeah, I'm a good listener." And
Yeah.
then the second meeting, he was talking.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
right out of his shell and
Yeah.
let's get at it sort of
Yeah.
thing. Well, I want to take this opportunity, first of all, and say thanks to you for being a member.
Yeah.
Thanks to you for being very much part of this organizing committee
Mm-hmm.
to get this whole men's shed up and running. It doesn't mean that it's going to be only here in South Surrey, White Rock area, but there's many cities in the greater Vancouver area that can have men's sheds set up. We're asking you folks, get in touch with us. If you are interested, if you're interested in your husband getting into the men's shed and becoming one of those individuals that come out and talk about themselves, their career, what is taking place in their life, they're retired, hey, come on out and talk about it. We can do anything, and we do make it very easy for them. But here's what you do. If you're interested, very simply, send me an email. Send me an email. I will pass it on to all the members, and that way we'll get the whole ball rolling. And my email is shellbuzzy, That's SHELLBUSEY @hotmail.com. It's just that easy, folks. Or you can call at 604-542-2236. And if you are on the internet, we email you all the information. We don't share them, obviously. We share only with your fellow Men's Shed members. But anywhere that you can find the time, send us that email and we'll follow up with you. It is just that easy. Thanks for watching. Come on and participate. Have some fun. And tell us about what you've done. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.